All right, guys. Really looking forward to this match between Shaun Zink and Dan Sharlow. Good luck to both players, and we're going to get started right at 9 o'clock. right, guys. Very much looking forward to this match. We've got number 1, Shaun Zink, taking on the challenger, number 3, Dan Sharlow, in the top 15 players list for Rochester, New York. This is going to be a race to 9 and 10 ball pool. Both players, extremely high-level shooters. Drone shots in the live chat with quite a bit to say to start us off. Shaun Zink able to win the lag, and he's going to be able to start us off with the break as well. Drone shots in the live chat says Ronnie pulled it off last time against Jake Miosi while being down 8-6. Ronnie is able to win 9-8. Very impressive comeback from Ronnie. Drone shots in the live chat says, we got any money on this match? Where's Tyson when you need him, or Le Bavu? You gotta come down to ask if you want to know. Dry break from Shaun Zink, Dan Sharlow with a good look on the 1 ball. Could be able to make position for the 2, no problem. Dan leaves himself a pretty difficult cut on the 2. Shaun Zink's going to be able to come back to the table and make the 2 into the side pocket. Question is he going to be able to control this cue ball, or is he going to lose control of it for the 3? Drone shots in the live chat says Shaun Zink has got to play Ronnie. He does. I hope to set up that match sometime. Shaun was looking to cheat the pocket a little bit for the side in order to hold position for the 3. He wasn't able to get there. Is Dan Sharlow going to get behind the 8 ball here? Looks like he might have gotten a little bit of that 8 in the way. Curious to see if the 4 clears the 7 into the left corner pocket. If Shaun chooses to follow this 5 ball into the side pocket, the cue ball is likely to bump into the 6. And he ends up with a really nice shot on the 6 into the far right corner. Shaun misses the 6 into the far right corner. Dan Sharlow with a good look on the 6. Tricky to make position for the 7 though. A little unpredictable for how this is going to roll. Dan looking to make contact with the 7 towards the top of it to try and leave himself a good shot on the 7 into the right corner. That's a good shot. Dan looking like he's going to be able to get out here. Dan is able to stun this cue ball back just a little bit for a fairly straight-in shot on the 10. Can Dan take the first game here? Yes, he can. Good job to Dan Sharlow, making it 1-0. And Dan to break. Not much of a shot on the 1, even though Shaun's clear for it. He needs the bridge for this one. Let's see if he chooses to leave the cue ball behind the 3. Nice speed on that. That's going to be ball in hand for Shaun Zink. Dan makes contact with the 1, but goes rail first. Nothing hit a rail after contact. Shaun has ball in hand as a result. Shaun looking to go for an early 110 combination into the side pocket. Can he do it? What a shot by Shaun Zink. Really nice combination into the side. Shaun able to tie the game up really quickly, 1-1. Both players are fairly quick shooters as well. Dry break for Shaun Zink. Dan Sharlow, most likely looking to push out here. Shaun Zink has the option to shoot the shot or give it back to Dan. This one's a little tricky. Shaun could hit this one ball fairly square off the kick to leave the cue ball behind the two. Difficult shot, but possible. Need a little bit of right spin for it. And look at this. Shaun executes the safety behind the two ball perfectly. Really well done by Shaun. Dan Sharlow nearly makes contact on the one, but he isn't able to get it. Shaun Zink with ball in hand here. Really nice speed on the cue ball to leave an angle on the two. And Shaun able to bring the cue ball around the 7 ball for position on the 3. Let's see if he's going to draw this cue ball back for a shot on the 5. This is tough. He doesn't have many places he can place the cue ball for a shot on the 5. He doesn't get past the 9. Shaun, most likely, unable to make the 5 here. What's the plan? Where's Bob Hendrix with the score prediction when you need him? And Dan Sharlow is going to be able to come to the table with a pretty nice look on the 5. Little bottom right to bring this cue ball back for the 6 into the side pocket. He just needs to make sure to avoid the 7 when the cue ball comes off the rail. But what is this? Dan unable to get a good leave on the 7 here. Curious to see if Dan's actually going to go for some sort of 4-rail setup on the 8. Instead, he tries to hold position for the 8, which really didn't seem possible given the angle on the 7. And Dan able to get the cue ball right behind the 10. Really well done. This is a difficult kick here. Not too many easy options, or really no easy options at all. The most straightforward shot, to me, is to just masse around the 10. Bob Hendrix predicts a 9-8 score favoring Dan Sharlow. Quite the prediction, Bob. Good luck to both players. Dan able to draw this cue ball back. A little more would have been perfect, but he's got a pretty good shot on the 10 into the corner pocket. Should be able to make it. And he sinks to the 10. Really well done. The score is now 2-1. Dan Sharlow in the lead. Surprisingly, another dry break. Shaun banks the the 1 into the 2 ball and plays a really nice save here. And Dan has to shoot over the 5, which is extremely uncomfortable to do. Let's see how he does here. Almost makes contact. Shaun Zink with ball in hand coming to the table. Shaun leaves himself an angle on the 2 to play the 3 ball from the short side into the far left corner. Let's see if the 4-9 is something he considered, or if he's going to try to bring this cue ball back down to the short side with the 4 to play it up the table. Difficult positional shot if that's what he's going to go for. Perfect speed by Shaun Zink. Wow. Really nicely done. Shaun taking a look at the 5, making sure it clears the 7. From my angle, it does look like it clears. Nice shot by Shaun. Really nice shot by Shaun on the 5. More than likely out here. And Shaun making position for the 8 into the side pocket with perfect speed. Well done. Good angle on the 9 to just draw this cue ball straight back for the 10 into the corner. But he doesn't get enough. Is Shaun in trouble here? Got a really thin cut on the 10 into the right corner pocket. Drone Shots in the live chat says whoops to Shaun's positional play. But Shaun Zink, unaffected by tough shots, able to tie the score up 2-2. Really nice recovery shot by Shaun Zink. Drone Shots in the live chat. I think you forget shots that are difficult for most players are not that difficult for Shaun somehow. We've got Ed Jacobs in the live chat. Says, I'll take Shaun for 20 bucks. All right, Ed Jacobs. Does anyone in the live chat want to take Dan Sharlow for 20 bucks against Ed Jacobs? Dan plays a really nice save behind the 3 ball. Shaun should be able to kick at this one and at least make contact, no problem. We've got Kristen Swanger in the live chat. Says it was still a mistake for positioning, but he recovered well. Shouldn't have to shoot the 10 ball that way. Yeah, I agree. Basically what I said was, yeah, tough shot for Shaun, but makes it look easy. Kristen Swanger in the live chat will also take Dan Sharlow for 20 bucks against Ed Jacobs. I don't know if Ed Jacobs and Kristen Swanger know each other in person, but there is $20 on the line here. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, I think Robert will take the bet. Who's Robert? Dan Sharlow unable to pot the 1, but leaves Shaun pretty difficult here. He's got to go rail first, and potting the 1 seems unlikely. Ed Jacobs confirms the $20 wager against Kristen Swanger. Oh boy. You know what you guys should have played for rather than 20 is 3 shots at Billiard Breakdown. For anyone just tuning in, thanks for watching Billiard Breakdown. These are the top 15 players in Rochester, New York. Shaun Zink is number 1, Dan Sharlow is number 3. So they raced a 9 to 10 ball pool, and both of these players with quite the reputation in Rochester, New York. Very excited to see the outcome of this match. Ed Jacobs thinking about changing the wager from $20 to 20 push-ups. Chris and Swanger in the live chat says, no thanks, I'll stick with cash. Will fund a night of practice for me. And Shaun Zink making the difficult cut on the 3 while making position for the 4, carrying off the 8 ball. Really well done. Drone Shots in the live chat says, I'll take Ronnie for 100. So would anyone else. Drone Shots, that's nothing new. Shaun Zink misses the hanger on the 4 ball somehow. Really surprising miss from Shaun Zink. Dan Sharlow looking to draw this cue ball back a little bit for a shot on the 6. And Dan Sharlow is going to overcut that 5 ball by a pretty large margin. Shaun Zink with a long shot. He's got to follow this cue ball down to the short rail and back up for position on 6. And he's likely to run into the 7-10. Let's see how he does. And the cue ball is going to sit behind the 7-10. Shaun Zink with not much of a shot here, but nice long stroke by Shaun. Shaun makes good contact and leaves Dan pretty difficult here. Let's see what Dan decides to do. Look at that cut by Dan Sharlow. Really nice cut by Dan. If Dan can pot the 7 into the far right corner, the cue ball will naturally roll up for the 8 ball into the side pocket. This is the shot to make. Can he do it? Instead, Dan choosing to play a save, but the 7 doesn't touch the rail. Shaun Zink with ball in hand out of nowhere. Really unfortunate Dan was not able to hit that 7 a little bit harder. Shaun Zink should be out, no problem here. Kristen Swanger in the live chat says that was a whoops shot. Yeah, whoops for sure. Drone shots in the live chat says ball in hand. Yes, sir, it is. Curious to see if Shaun is just going to stun draw this cue ball back a little bit for the 10 ball into the side pocket, or if he's going to go for something a little bit more fancy here. Side pocket it is, and he's able to get the cue ball off the rail perfectly for a nice, comfortable shot. Is Shaun able to take the lead here for the first time in the set? He misses the 10! Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? Dan Sharlow with another chance to take the lead. And he takes the 10. The score is now 3-2. Dan Sharlow in the lead. Shaun Zink missing the easiest shot of the rack. Wow. Unbelievable. Really, really unbelievable miss by Shaun. Nice break by Dan. Curious to see if Dan's able to slow roll this cue ball into the 1 for a shot on the 3. Dan's hoodie nearly touching the 9 or even on the 9. Tough to say there. Dan bumps the 6 out. I wonder if he's considering the 6-10 combo. That's a very doable shot if he can make position for it. He's got the right angle on the 5 to go for a 6-10 combo here. I'm surprised Dan played the cue ball down to that area of the table. Seems like rolling the cue ball forward would have been slightly preferable, but Dan plays a really nice safe behind the 7, and the 8 ball blocking most of the angles for the 6. Bob Hendrix in the live chat says APA players moving around in their line of sight. Well, it is what it is. And Dan is going to get ball in hand here. Kristen Swanger in the live chat says, yeah, a bit hectic around them. Is Dan going to go for a carom into the 10 ball, into the corner pocket? Almost. Drone shots in the live chat says my kid could jump that. If you're talking about jumping over the 7 to contact the 6, yeah, right. And Dan is going to get another really nice save on Shaun. But he's got more room to work with this time. He's got to go rail first, preferably into the left long rail. Nick Coppola's head is on the stream now. Nick Coppola just defeated Kirk Foley to defend his position. Not too sure why Nick Coppola's head is... Does he make contact? He makes contact. Nick Coppola's head was in the way. Freaking Nick Coppola blocking the view of the 6. Christine Strong in the live chat says, hello all. Christine Strong is our tournament director over here at Billiard Breakdown in Rochester, New York. We have tournaments every Friday as well as Sunday. Reach out to Christine Strong for more information if you're interested in joining. And Dan Sharlow scratching straight into the right side pocket. Unbelievable. Ed Beach in the live chat says, I'm pretty sure Nick Coppola was asked to watch the hit. Yeah, that makes sense. But still, his head was in the way. Dan tries to bring the cue ball back behind the 7 to shoot it from the short side, but scratches in the side pocket. This is not an easy shot. It's easy to miss-hit the 7 ball. Shaun Zink with the clutch bank on the 8. Really nicely done. Is going to just slow roll this and hold for the 10. He is, and Shaun Zink looking like he's going to be able to tie it up. Really though, what an insane kick to make contact with the 6 ball after Dan Sharlow plays a really, really nice save on Shaun Zink. The score is now 3-3. We've got a tie game, guys. Ed Beach in the live chat says the overhead camera is coming soon. Yes, sir, it is. And when it does, it's going to be a game changer. Drone Shots in the live chat says race to 6 now. Yes, it is. The player is consistently breaking dry. Dan Sharlow takes his head at the 4 ball, getting in the way of the 1. Ed Beach in the live chat says, I don't think Nick's head would be in the way if we had the overhead camera. You are correct, sir. The reflection of the light off of Nick Capola's head nearly got to me. Drone Shots in the live chat says they should have doubled the bet and started over. Who are you talking about? What's Dan's plan here? He's gonna look like he's gonna just jump this. Good contact. Shaun Zink going to have a shot on the one, possibly into the side pocket. Tough to say. Drone Shots in the live chat says Dan with the jump cue. Shaun not looking like he was able to bring the cue ball far enough up the table. Dan's taking a look at the two. He's gonna miss the cut. Shaun Zink with a 110 opportunity here. He's really got to take his time on this one. This would be quite the turn of events for Dan here if Shaun can make this 110 combination into the left corner pocket. He doesn't get it. Dan Sharlow with the 110 combination into the side pocket somehow. Are you kidding me? Can he do it? Dan is able to make the 10. Really well done. Score is now 4-3. Dan Sharlow in the lead. There's a Swanger in the live chat says, nice shot to Dan Sharlow's combo into the side pocket. Shaun Zink is going to be able to set up for the spore ball, more than likely. Curious to see what kind of angle he's going to leave himself for this 5. That is the one problem ball in this rack. This is going to be difficult to make position for. The 4 ball does not drop for Shaun, but it does seem like he played a pretty nice two-way shot, where if he were to miss, the cue ball is going to sit behind that entire cluster of balls. Really smart play. Dan Sharlow with a nice kick into the 4, and he's on the 5. Is he going to sit this cue ball behind the 9? Yes, he is. Nice safety. Shaun Zink unable to make contact. Dan Sharlow with ball in hand. Dan leaves himself a nice angle on the 7 to just roll this cue ball forward for the 8. Nice angle on the 8 to just bring this cue ball straight back for the 9. Just a touch of left spin was used. And is Dan going to be able to make position for the 10 into the left corner pocket? Yes, he is. Can Dan take a 2-game lead here over Shaun Zink? Really nice shot by Dan. The score is now 5-3. Dan Sharlow leading Shaun Zink. Dan to break. Doesn't look like Dan got the save. He taps the table a little bit out of frustration. Shaun should be able to shoot right in between the 5 and the 10 for this. He doesn't make the cut. Dan's going to have a shot on the 1 into the corner pocket. Although position on the 2 can be a little tricky. He could stun draw this cue ball back for the 2 ball into the side pocket. Dan, unable to pot the 1, doesn't leave Shaun Zink with much, though. Yeah, trying to hold position for the 2 into the far left corner pocket was difficult. Shaun misses the cut on the 1. And Dan is going to slightly, I can't really tell if he was trying to set up for the side or the corner here. But either way, he gets to the 50-yard mark where both shots are somewhat uncomfortable. He's really taking his time trying to think this one through. And he comes up with a really nice safe. Using the 8 and the 3, Shaun Zink should be able to kick at this with a little touch of left spin to make contact at the bare minimum. He's going to go under the 4, though. He misses the 2 ball on the way back up the table. Dan Sharlow with ball in hand. He gets a little bit of an odd angle on 3 to make position for the 4. He's got to avoid the 9 as well as the 5 to get around. This is a makeable shot, but it's a very low percentage shot here. Dan kind of shrugs at the table. He goes for the cut. Shaun's going to be able to come back in. He's got a pretty good chance of running this out. Although he is pretty straight on with the 4 ball. Position on the 5 is a little tricky here. Does he clear the 9? Shaun Zink shakes his head. He may not have cleared the 9. Let's see. Not too sure why he shook his head. Really nice shot by Shaun. Shaun should be able to shoot this 8 into the side pocket and go one rail back up the table for good angle on the 9. Nicely done. And he's got to make sure not to miss the 10 into the side pocket again. Nice confident stroke for position on the 10 into the side pocket. Shaun able to make the score 4-5, still trailing behind Dan Sharlow. Dan with a tough shot on the 1. A little tricky to play safe here as well. Behind the 3. Really nice safe behind the 3. Shaun's going to be able to kick at this 1 ball no problem though. What a shot by Shaun Zink. Really nice tough cut. Kristen Swanger in the live chat says, I think he can see the 1. You're right. What a shot by Shaun to cut it into the corner pocket. And he's actually got an angle on the 2 ball to avoid the 9, the 4, and the 6. Can he bring this cue ball back up the table for the 3? That would be quite the setup. Shaun Zink misses the 2 ball. Dan Sharlow likely to play safe behind the 9 or something. Nice shot. Shaun with a good answer. Not easy to kick at here. Although if Shaun were to get ball in hand, there's no easy follow-up either. Kristen Swanger in the live chat says it's like you know how he plays or something. Yeah, seems like it. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. Maybe I'm good at guessing. Shaun, not much on the 2. Let's see if he just thins the 2 and tries to play safe again. 3 foul is in play here. He could go for it, even though, even if you set the 2 ball behind the 5, you can kick at it from the short rail, no problem. So he's gonna look at this 5 ball here. Does he get it? Doesn't look like he got it. Is the 210 available? I don't think so, but that would have been quite the unfortunate roll for Dan. Kristen Swanger says carry him off the 2 into the 10. I don't think so. It was too thick for the carry him into the 10. We've got a little safety battle going on here. Good speed by Shaun Zink. Nice save. He's gonna go under the 3. He kicks the 2 in. But did he call it? He kicks the 2 in. What a kick by Dan Sharlow. Really nice shot. Kristen Swanger in the live chat says, nice freaking shot. And look at the bump he gets on the 4. What a bump Dan got on the 4. Is he out from here? He's got to shoot over the 9. Or maybe not really. He should be able to roll this cue ball towards the left long rail, back towards the center for the 8. All right, what kind of angle is he going to try to get on this 9? Is he going to go for the slightly more difficult cut on the 9 and just stun this 8 ball in to the far right corner pocket? That seems to be the highest percentage play. He doesn't go for it. He misses the 8. Where's the cue ball going? Shaun's not left with much. He's got a bank into the 8, into the right corner nearest us. But now may not seem like the right time to go for a shot like that. Really nice shot by Shaun. Really tough to play safe there, but he finds a way. Dan looking at an 8-10 combo. Not easy though. And what a roll for Dan. That cue ball is going to hit the edge of that side pocket. Shaun's going to have a very makeable shot on the 8. And Shaun gets perfect on the 9 into the corner pocket. He's going to be able to sink it. And he's also going to be able to tie it up 5-5. Well done by Shaun Zink. We've got another tie game here. Dan on the 4 ball. Should be able to make position on the 5, no problem. Just needs a little bit of bottom right to bring this cue ball back. Dan leaves himself a little odd. He's jacking up, testing out the masse or the jump. Really uncomfortable to stroke at. Can you do it? Dan's foot is on the table, but I'll allow it. Did the cue ball hit his butt? The cue ball hit his butt. Or was it the 5? I mean, the 5 ball hit his butt. Shaun Zink with ball in hand after a butt foul from Dan Sharlow. Crazy. Chris and Swanger laughing very hard in the live chat to Dan Sharlow's butt foul. Really unbelievable. Kristen Swanger in the live chat says, your reaction to it made me laugh harder. LOL. Yeah, I didn't know how to react to it other than how I did. Shaun not able to get position on the 8. Overhits the cue ball. This is the shot to make. What a cut. What a cut by Shaun Zink. Super clutch. He's going to stun this cue ball towards the left of the table for a shot on the 10 into the right corner. He is. Can Shaun Zink take the lead here? Uncomfortable to lean over the table. He needs to bring the bridge out for this shot. And he sinks the 10. He's able to take the lead. Score is 6-5. Shaun Zink in the lead. Dan Sharlow has been leading this entire time. Shaun Zink just taking a quick bathroom break, and he'll be right back as he walks up to the table. Does Dan have an angle on the 2 for the side pocket, or does he have to go for a bank? Shaun Zink massays around the 5 to make contact on the 2. Dan left with a 2-4 combo, or some sort of safe if he chooses to go for it. He doesn't get it though. Dan's gonna have a cut, or Shaun's gonna have a cut on the 2. Don't think he'll go for it though, because position on the 3 is very iffy. He's probably just going to try to use the 5-10-9 as a blocker here. Seems like he got it. Dan should be able to kick at this 2 no problem though. Shaun tries too hard to make position for the 3 ball. When you use top right for a fairly straight in cut, it's easy to miss hit, and that's what happens. Is the 8 ball in the way for Shaun here? So Dan can cut this 2 ball in and maybe go directly into the 3-6. Holding position for the 3-6, or for the 3 into the far left corner, doesn't seem likely. Dan does try to go into that 3-6, but misses the 2. Shaun back at the table. Still very difficult to make position for the 3. But Shaun able to get perfect somehow. Really nicely done. Does he have enough angle on the 3 to stun this cue ball back towards the right for the 4? Shaun tries to put heavy draw on the cue ball to make position for the 4, but he gets a lucky roll. Shaun misses at the 3, but the 8 ball's in the way. Tough to say if the 6 is in the way of the cut on the 3. It does look like it clears the 10, and even if it doesn't, it could carry him off the 10 and still drop into that far corner. Did Shaun leave Dan a 310 carom into the far left corner? Seems unlikely, but the angle that I'm viewing this from may not be accurate. He does. Really nice job by Dan Sharlow to pocket the 10 ball. Score is now tied up 6-6. Really tight race here. Drone Shots in the live chat says, good shot. Yes, it was. Drone Shots, do you have any prediction on the winner of this match? Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, pretty sloppy play for these guys. Could say that. But in response, my response would be, when you're playing at a high level and every time you come to the table, it's a tough shot or a tough safety shot that you have to respond to. It's difficult to stay consistent. Drone Shots in the live chat predicts Shaun Zink to win 9-8. Drone Shots in the live chat asks, what are they, about 550 Fargo? They're much higher than that, drone shots. Shaun Zink has been playing around a 700 level recently. Dan Sharlow, I believe, is around 650. Although their official Fargos, I believe, are actually pretty close to each other. Is Shaun going to scratch? He does not. Dan does look like he has a shot on the 5, though. Is Shaun eyeing this long cut on the 5? He's more likely to make the shot than not, but still, very high risk. I'd be surprised if he went for it at this point. Good leave. Dan Sharlow's still able to cut this 5 ball in, but it's very difficult. Kind of looks like Dan made contact with the rail first. Shaun left with another long shot down the rail if he chooses to go for it. Really nice shot by Shaun. If he can cut the 6 in pocket speed, he'll be able to hold position for the 7. Well done. Shaun looking like he'll be able to get out here. He misses the 7. Shaun misses the 7. Are you kidding me? Dan Sharlow with a good chance of finishing this rack out. But he leaves himself a thin cut. Tough to control the cue ball here. Where's the cue ball going? Dan showing a little bit of frustration for where the cue ball ended up. Chris and Swanger in the live chat says they both usually play much stronger than this. Ed Jacobs says, I agree. But you know, that's what happens. You get two players at a very high level playing each other, you're going to see some more errors than if they were to play someone much lower level. Is the 10 in the way of the 9? Might be. Hey, we shout out to Jay Vocal in the live chat. Jay says they've been playing a lot of defense. It's tough to turn offense on and off when you're playing so many safety shots. Shaun completely misses the 9 ball, and he's going to concede the rack. Really surprising result. The score is 7-6. Dan Sharlow in the lead. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says Shaun Zink just hung a 7 ball that he would normally make. Yeah. I would even say most people would make that shot. Very surprising from Shaun Zink. Nice leave by Dan Sharlow on the 1. Shaun Zink with not much to work with other than a long kick. Is the cue ball gonna scratch? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Dan Sharlow finds a way to scratch. Shaun Zink tries to go into the 310. He misses it. But he plays a really nice safety shot, thinning the 3 and leaving the cue ball behind the 7-9. Dan is eyeing the 10 into the side pocket. Are the players reviewing the footage of the shot? And Shaun Zink with ball in hand. The 3-10 to tie it up. Can Shaun do it? He does. Nice job by Shaun Zink. And we've got a 7-7 game now. Unbelievably close race between both players. If we go to Hill, geez. Shaun may have a straight in 1-3 combination. Nice shot. Shaun's gonna overcut the one. Dan with a chance to play a good safety here, using the 4-5-7. Nice shot. This is a pretty makeable cut. The one being on the rail makes the shot a little simpler. He just wants to make sure not to get caught behind the 4-5-7-10. And somehow, Dan is left without a shot on the 2-ball. He's gonna have to kick at this. Instead, it looks like he's going to just play some sort of safe and try to leave the cue ball behind that 4-5-7, which he does nicely. Shaun should be able to kick at the 2, but he's going to aim directly at it. Is the cut possible? Good leave for Shaun. Dan looking to make contact directly. Doesn't look like Shaun has a shot. directly into the 2. He may have to kick in between the 4 and the 7 and go rail first. Shaun Zink! Shaun Zink with the... Bruh. Shaun makes the 2-rail kick into the side pocket. Are you kidding me? What a kick. What a kick by Shaun. Le Bavu in the live chat says, wow, with the clapping emoji. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, great shot to Shaun Zink. Holy crap. If Shaun runs out from that position, jeez. He sinks the 5, but it doesn't look like he's got an angle on the 7. What's he gonna do? He should be able to see just the left edge of the 7. If he somehow banks the 7 in and calls it with position on 10, this will be one of the greatest runouts I've seen. What's he going for? The 7 ball was going. But he gets a really nice save behind the 10 ball. Well done. Wow. Dan Sharlow eyeing the jump shot. He kicks the 7 in. What? Did he call that? Oh my God, what a jump by Dan Sharlow. Can he make the 10 to get on the hill first? Jesus, this rack is ridiculous. And he sinks the 10. What an out by Dan. Ridiculous as a cue ball zooms by behind him. Dan Sharlow on the hill, 8-7. What a rack. What an insane rack. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, wow. Wow is right. And Dan Sharlow win this. It's a little tough on the 2. But it's no problem for Dan. Really nice shot. Good position on the 3. He could just roll this cue ball down the table. Bob Hendrix in the live chat says, let's freaking go, Dan. The 3 is not going to drop. But Shaun with a 6-7 problem at the table. Unless it clears. It might clear, but doesn't look like it. Good chance to break out the 6 if it's in the way. Really, really nice shot by Shaun Zink. Perfect speed. You might need the bridge for this shot. Man, can Shaun run this out? Shaun just needs to roll this cue ball down the table for the 10 into the side pocket. He gets very straight on the 9. That's why Shaun is sighing about his leave right here. But he should be able to just roll the cue ball down. Why is he eyeing the shot on the 10 into the corner pocket? Really? Really? Why? It drops! It drops for Shaun. What a shot! I have no idea why Shaun Zink chose to draw this cue ball back instead of roll it forward for the shot into the side pocket, but wow. Wow. What a high pressure shot. You can hear his heart beating from here. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, beast. We've got a hill match, guys. Who's got it? Hill. Shaun's got a shot on the one into the side pocket. He doesn't have the right angle to come down the table for the two, though. Not a bad lead for Shaun. The one ball's gonna sit. Is the two in the way? It is. Shaun Zink shakes his head. What's the game plan here? Shaun Zink does not jump, even though it would come pretty handy right now. Shaun's really taking his time with this shot. He may have to shoot between the 3 and the 9 with a touch of right to straighten out the angle. Very low percentage shot. Man, Shaun Zink's got to learn how to jump a ball. I'm sure he knows how, he just chooses not to for some reason. Okay, he's going to masse around the 2. Not going to get it. Dan Sharlow with ball in hand. To masse around that, you need much more elevation. Dave Smith in the live chat says 3 rails. Easier said than done. And Dan Sharlow do it. Can he run this out for the win? Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, I expect Dan to run this out. Well, he's definitely taking his time planning out the route. Dan, unable to make position for the 4. Not too sure what kind of angle he was going for. Definitely would have been better to stun this cue ball. Dan's looking at the short rail kick on the 4. Shaun's going to be able to see this. What's he going to do? No real obvious safety here, in my opinion. Difficult cut on the 4. He could just leave the cue ball down on the short rail on the right side of the 6 and shoot the 4 back towards the left around the 5 ball. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says Shaun Zink is going to cut this in. I don't think so. I think the safety is the right play here. Dan's going to have a shot at this 4, but this is not easy. Dan's taking his time here. Can you do it? He makes the cut. What a shot by Dan. And look at the position he gets on the 5. It's perfect. What a clutch shot by Dan Sharlow. Ed Jacobs in the live chat says, beautiful shot. It was all net. Ed Beach in the live chat says that was a game-winning shot. Could be. Can Dan finish this out? Looking pretty good. He's got nice position on the 7. And not quite able to draw the cue ball back as far as he would have liked. He can still get out here though. And gets up on the shot. He's not sure if that's what he wants to go for. Looks like he was aiming at the far left corner. Is Dan gonna get perfect on the 10? Darn near perfect. Can he take the win to defeat Shaun Zink 9-8 and take the #1 contender spot on the Rochester's top 15 players list? Can he do it? Or the win for the #1 position? He sinks it. Dan Sharlow defeats Shaun Zink 9-8. Bob Hendrix predicts the score correctly from the beginning. What a match. Hill. Dan Sharlow able to win the last game 9-8. Wow. Really great shooting from both players. What a match. Man. Thank you guys for watching Billiard Breakdown tonight. This was Shaun Zink taking on the challenger, Dan Sharlow. Number 1 versus number 3. Dan defeats Shaun Zink. This was the top 15 players in Rochester. Race to 9 and 10 ball pool. What a win by Dan. Congratulations. I hope you guys enjoyed the match. I definitely did. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And we'll see you guys next time.